Just gotta keep your lips flapping. That'll help stay you awake. Well, my editing skills are crap, but can the same thing be said about Terminator Dark Fate? Stick around and find out. Bwah, 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 bwah. Bwah, 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 bwah. Hey, I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is my uncut review of Terminator Dark Fate. The synopsis on IMDb, written by Paramount Pictures, which I'm just going to cut off like the last sentence. I feel like it gives away just a little too much. Says, more than 2 decades have passed since Sarah Connor prevented Judgment Day, changed the future, and rewrote the fate of the human race. Dani Ramos is living a simple life in Mexico City with her brother and father when a highly advanced and deadly new Terminator, a Rev-9, travels back through time to hunt and kill her. Dani's survival depends on her joining forces with 2 warriors, Grace, an enhanced super soldier from the future, and a battle-hardened Sarah Connor. Alright, so, what is this animal? Story, script, pacing, tone. This definitely gives off vibes of Terminator 2, and I think in some ways of like Terminator 3, where it's basically like these people that are on the run. I don't want to say like a road trip type thing, but they're just always on the run from a Terminator that's hunting them down, you know, on the same kind of scale that was happening in Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, and I suppose to some degree, you know, Terminator Genesis. So it's definitely that same kind of formula, and it's got tons of action, I was pleasantly surprised to find that there was a lot that I hadn't seen in trailers for this movie of cool action and big explosions and, you know, all kinds of destruction going on. That's really what these movies, I think, are good for. And when they're at their best, they're giving these big set piece moments of destruction and big vehicles that are heavy and are just, you know, like unstoppable as they ram into other things. You know, that's kind of the meat and potatoes, I think, of a good Terminator movie, is those kinds of elements. And this movie certainly delivers on that. I was never bored. I was also not they had a few moments where they would give us a little bit of exposition, but they gave it out, I think, at just the right pace for what I wanted, you know, to keep things going. It also had some nice character drama moments. There were some touching moments in this movie, brief and not really, you know, as heavy in that department as, you know, I would like in my dreams, you know. But very seldom are you going to find a movie that leans this much into action and stuff and also has these really great heavy character moments. But considering what type of movie this is, I was really pleased that they gave time to these touching moments in the movie. So, yeah, I really, as far as like, I'm not going to give away spoilers, but this one, you know, you may have heard in advance that you only need to have seen the first 2 Terminator movies to watch this one, and that's certainly true. I am still puzzling in my mind over how to make this work in the continuity of all the movies, at least the movies, if not the TV series, that have come before it, because it really, I think, owes a number of beats and concepts to the movies that it's asking us to ignore. You know, I'm like, really, they planted the seeds for this in Terminator 3, and they planted the seeds conceptually for this in Terminator Salvation, and they planted the seeds for this, you know, in, well, I don't know if they planted seeds for anything in Terminator Genesis, but in the Terminator TV series, you know, there were some elements of the TV series I'm like, you know, you owe, you know, at least conceptually, even if you're not going to acknowledge the continuity of these previous things, you owe those things you want us to ignore for some of the concepts that you're reusing or reintroducing, you know, in this movie. So it's a bit of a shame that they're kind of asking us to do that. That's why in my head, because I really, in different ways, enjoy all the Terminator movies and the TV show that have come out, to varying degrees, but because I, you know, enjoy them all, at least some, I want to be able to have them all be a part of the same big story, you know. So it's a bit of a shame. I'm still working on that. I'll maybe post on the forums at christiangeekcentral.com if I figure out something, some way to make them work. I'm putting up my spoiler car video for this for patrons today, and then sometime when this one comes out on home video, I'll put that spoiler car video up for everybody on the main channel. And please pipe in at that time with any ways that you want to help me try and make these things all gel together. Okay, as far as the cast goes, we had Linda Hamilton returning as Sarah Connor. We had Arnold Schwarzenegger returning as a T-800, and They were great in, their roles, really solid. And then we also had new performers. We had Mackenzie something Mackenzie, who's playing Grace, the enhanced soldier from the future. I really liked her casting. When I originally saw the first trailers, I was like, I don't know, she looks kind of like she didn't look strong to me for some reason. Like physically, she didn't look bulky enough or imposing enough or something. She looked, just kind of like almost like boyish and kind of like a waif, a little bit. Waif is probably not the right word. Maybe a wafer. She's just kind of thin. But when I saw her in the movie more, I saw her height more often compared to Danny, the character she's protecting, and her height compared to other characters. I was like, oh, she's tall. She's really tall. And so, unlike what I was seeing in the trailers throughout the movie, I got a sense of her size. And I was like, yeah, she looks like kind of an Amazonian type of soldier from the future. I buy into that. And so I really thought it was good casting in terms of her physicality. And also I thought as an actress, she was, really solid. And the actress playing Danny, who is being protected, because of her connection to the future, was also really solid. She played I think even better than Linda Hamilton did in the original Terminator. The actress playing Danny played both sides of both like helpless, confused, don't know what's going on, to growing and becoming stronger and firm and capable. So yeah, I really appreciated her in that. And the actor playing the Rev 9, the new Terminator, it's much like the T-1000. This Terminator was allowed to be much more effective in his simulation of human qualities. And so he was able to take on these very personable traits, whereas the T-1000 was more personable, certainly, than the T-800. He was still just a little bit wooden, and this one really becomes much more convincingly human-like as he's deceiving others. And so, yeah, a very versatile kind of a performer, I think, in that sense, and represented the concept well. As far as stunts and visuals go, I was really concerned about the visual effects when I saw one of the early trailers. I was like, this does not look like it has the budget put into visual effects that it needed to have. But I think, I don't want to say my opinion changed. I don't think the effects, CGI effects have not gotten that much better in the last 5 to 10 years to my eye. But again, I'm cursed with an eye that just like picks out CG for what it is. But the morphing moments that I was like, ooh, that looks a little bit unfinished, they didn't bother me as much. Maybe because they were more finished now, or maybe, just in the flow of the movie, it wasn't as big a deal. I don't know. But one thing that I do wish they wouldn't have leaned on so much is body doubling for CG. There's a number of stunt sequences where characters are getting thrown around and they're they're like throwing each other around and slamming each other up against walls and stuff. And there was a good amount of CG body replacement for some of those stunts. And I was bummed at that because I can detect that. That's part of the curse that I have. And so it's not that visually it looked unrealistic. It's the way it moves. It's motion capture, really, that I really wish Hollywood could advance in significantly, because that's what always cues me more than textures to the fact that there's CG trickery going on. It has something to do with the movement of a character, And so that took me out of the experience several times, but I think that's not going to be the case for many, many viewers. I think many, many viewers are going to just, be able to totally buy into the experience without any problems. But certainly there was plenty of visual effects, plenty of cool stunts, and plenty of good practical explosions and vehicles crashing and stuff like that I've really come to enjoy. Maybe there were some vehicles that were CGI getting destroyed and I took them for real. That's where CGI can fool me, is when it's inanimate objects. It's much more effective at fooling me. And so when cars are getting blown up and knocked around and stuff, there was a number of times where it was like, I think that's practical, and I really appreciated that. So it really, in terms of the visuals and the action, apart from the body replacement stuff, it really delivered what I wanted it to deliver. The soundtrack evoked Terminator 2 without really riffing on it a ton, but that percussive gang 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 gang, that kind of a sound, that kind of feel, it was basically a modern version of that. Not using the same themes. They would every once in a while hint at one or bring one back and modify it a little bit, but not in like a, oh my gosh, that's way too on the nose kind of way for me. It really had its own themes, its own kind of like tracks, and so yeah, I thought that really brought it back really well. The sensibility, I should say, of the previous movies. As far as themes, Well, I think that they're going for something on a meta level, just as is happening with entertainment, in recent years. They're going for kind of a female empowerment kind of vibe, which doesn't bother me as long as it doesn't, feel like it's, like heavy-handed or just like too on the nose and stuff like that. I think that's a good thing to bring into movies, and so there, but every once in a while I could see that they were like, okay, they're doing this on a meta level. I was like, I see what's going on here, but at the same time, it was also being true to the series. They were doing some things that were basically, at the end of the day, emphasizing Sarah Connor's importance to the future resistance. More so even, I think, than John Connor's importance to the resistance. Even though John was kind of like the savior figure for many movies, his role is really de-emphasized in this one. And Sarah Connor's importance to the future, really, if you read between the lines, you're like, oh, yeah, this is really, even though this movie's about rescuing Danny because she's important to the resistance, if you think about it, after you watch the end of this movie, I think maybe you'll understand it's Sarah that's even maybe more important than Danny, and so it was interesting to see them kind of play with those themes a little bit. There are some other themes going on about like what defines you in life, what like the choices you make right now, and but they're also fleeting. And this just isn't a movie that's asking you to think about moral issues a whole lot. I will say though, one thing I appreciate about this movie is that it continues the trend that I've seen in all the Terminator movies, I think, up to this point, of making a real delineation between what an AI can potentially become in terms of personhood and what a human is in terms of personhood. These movies have always been about cautioning us to be careful with our technological advancement and make sure that we retain wisdom and that we retain morality as we make choices of what we're going to do with our advancing technology, because we can be reckless and greedy and too ambitious and not think about the moral ramifications of what we're doing as we advance society, And these movies have always been good as a cautionary tale in that regard as far as technology and stuff and our integration with technology. But I think also at the same time, even as the T-800 is used as a sympathetic character in, say, Terminator 2 or in Terminator 3 and, the other movies as well. There's always a clear mark, I think, between his level of personhood and a human being's level of personhood, and that is certainly continued here, and I really appreciate that. I don't like the idea presented in many movies about artificial intelligence that basically, with enough time and with enough brilliance in computing or whatever, a computer can become self-aware and can become a person on the same level that a human is a person. But I believe, as the Bible teaches, that we are whole people made of both a physical self and a spiritual component as well, that those two together make the complete picture of what a human is. And therefore, a purely physical entity, such as a machine, can never be a person, a true person in the sense that a human being is a person. And I think that this movie and the Terminator franchise really maintains that, and it is consistent with that. I don't think they're necessarily saying that, hey, humans have souls, or anything like that. But I think that these movies are surprisingly consistent with a theistic worldview and a dualistic worldview in terms of what humans are composed of. So I appreciate that. But it's not a movie that's trying to make you think. It's just intense and fun, and what a lot of people probably want from a Terminator movie now. So I have no idea what your tastes are in movies, but if I were a time traveler, I'd go back in time and say, Peter. Oh, even more appropriate, time travel. Does that sound like the sphere? I don't know. I have to listen to it again. Anyway, Peter, dude, watch this in theaters. That's not often that I would say that to you, but this one is worth watching in theaters. Try not to spend so much time while you're watching it, making it work with the continuity of the rest of the movies. Let that be a project afterward, because you're going to miss a few bits of dialogue being distracted by that. But this is definitely a movie that you're going to want to see in theaters, that you're definitely going to want to buy. And in the meantime, go back and watch all the other Terminator movies, and watch it and then go watch the other Terminator movies. That's what I'm planning to do in the coming weeks, and see if I can make it work with the ones that have come before. Anyway, you can get my spoiler-filled reactions to Terminator Dark Fate, and there's a lot of spoilery stuff to sort through beginning even with the first 15 minutes of this movie, first 5 minutes of this movie. That's a part of my spoiler car video series, which I put up every day that my normal reviews go out. It's delayed for everybody else. I usually wait and put those things on home video, put them out during the home video release later on. But anyway, you can watch that today as one of many perks available on the tiers that we have over at patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions. This one is rated R for violence throughout, language, and brief nudity. And I'd say it's like PG-13 levels of nudity, you know, brief pictures, brief shots of backsides and shots from a distance and shadowed and stuff like that. So hopefully that will help you know what to expect. All right, those are my thoughts. I'd love to get yours in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe. Don't forget, I've got my big 24-hour marathon starting tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So I need to wrap this up and start getting ready for tomorrow so that I can get to bed early and be up for 24 hours of video gaming and who knows what kind of craziness. I want to thank the Spirit Blade Insiders for making this review possible. Again, patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions for more info. And then join us, please, over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.
I should be in bed. I should just go to bed. I'm not gonna go to bed, but I should just go to bed. I used a mortar and pestle to make this concoction, like in freaking Skyrim. This is my one-of-a-kind stamina potion. It's gonna give me powers. Oh, that was good. Oh, I had a little thing there at the end, though. I need a different flavor in my mouth. When I drink my magic potion and I shoot the guns at the bad guys in the cartel. L in the cartel. Shoot the bad guys in the cartel. Don't get seen by the bad guy. Why didn't I send the drone in first? Wish I would have thought of that. Oh, but it's scrambled anyway.
They're jamming us.
Guess I won't do that plan today. It's time for the weapons case.
Helicopter.
Get down and boogie. Get down with your bad self. Can I shoot all of these bad guys? Or take them all down with a side of fries? Take it down, large size fries. Rip, wow. Just gotta keep your lips flapping. That'll help stay you awake. Thought I saw something. They come upon me, seeking to claim my mind. Oh, I just looked at that one. Just look at that one. No, I didn't look at that one. Getting harder to stay awake. Even with the crazy stuff in my veins. Having trouble staying the wakey. Wakey cakey. Just takey. Takey the wakey cakey. Once the nation power is low, frozen wet socks. Ow. Oh my gosh, that's cold. Oh my gosh. What was I thinking? Well, it's cold. Crawls on its belly. The truth will out. Was there another quest here? Another quest giver? Not that I'm gonna find right now. Go to the quest marker. My tummy feels a little weird. Try not to think about it.